Good to go. Got to say a little hello to my pup. Got her next to me here. Mark, Squishy, everybody. The whole gang is here today again, finally. So good to see everyone. And I know we were chopping it up really quick there before the show started. I was like, you know what? Let's just start it. I don't even care if people hang out and hear us chop it up for a few minutes, talking about Casey Mize getting pulled yesterday and, what other pitchers it may happen to today and tomorrow, and be very interesting to see.
That was just it, Amags. Squishy and I were talking because I was like, this time of year, right up against the trade deadline, it's the craziness. You start to see the craziness, and I'm looking at a slate like today from a Nerfy standpoint, and there's a couple of guys that you like, but then you look at most of these teams, and they're going to like bullpen days on a Saturday, which doesn't make sense.
You know what I was thinking about, just because I saw Jordan Hicks's name pop up there as the opener. I started thinking about the Tampa Bay team-specific Nerfy, just because he had been really solid. But like that move comes kind of late. We have now Kevin Gossman. There's rumors about him potentially being limited and pulled, and that's the first game of the day here now. So there's definitely, we have Tyler Phillips. That's another one where we'll see how long he goes against the Mets in that game. Quite a few of those today where it's an opener or it's a Cole Drake. We'll talk about him, a guy that is just filling a rotation spot for an injury. There's a lot of quirks. So yes, I think Squishy, you let it off with, this is a very interesting slate. I would agree with that for sure. So good morning. Good to see everybody in the chat here too. Matt says, hey there from Matt. What's going on, guys? So Mark, I know you were away for a couple of weeks. All good. How are you feeling? What do you?
The first week it was my father-in-law was dealing with the medical issue, so we were pulled away from that. But then last week I was, I asked you how you were doing, because for those that don't know, the capital region, or Albany, Schenectady area where you hail from, got absolutely drenched last week. 10 inches of rain in an 18-hour period. It was unbelievable, a 1,000-year storm, and it just parked itself right over that region. I was at a concert, Frog Alley. I don't know if you know the place in Schenectady. It's called Frog Alley. We were there just, that's so funny, Frog Alley, and we saw Trampled by Turtles. That the Airbnb that we stayed in actually got flooded out.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. So that was just incredible to see that the owner called us just to make sure we had gotten out of there. She goes, you should have been long gone, but I just want to make sure that everything was safe. And I'm like, yeah, we're good. We're not squatters.
Jeez. Wow. So, that was something that a lot of the area was faced with. And as I had mentioned, and some people have know, I've mentioned it before, but usually during the weeks I'm up here, and then, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, a lot of times I was downstate, but I try to stay up here if I can now for Saturdays to do this show. But there's a lot of, stuff that other people have to worry about that I don't, thankfully. Like, we live on the third floor. I can work from home. That stuff is very easy for me. But my girlfriend kind of got stuck in some of that flooding, and she had to drive, a whole roundabout way to get to work. And there was, road closures and trees down, and there was a ton of, consequences from that bad weather. So I appreciate you thinking of me, and, glad to hear that you didn't get stuck in a flooded basement.
Well, it wasn't even so. It was a townhouse, and apparently they had 8 inches going through the first floor.
Wow. So, oh my goodness. Yeah. So it was like that.
Yeah.
Well, hey,
it was at ground level.
I'm glad you weren't planning on squatting there, because you definitely you wouldn't have been planning on afterwards.
Yeah. Like, I'm not good at remodeling. Just ask my wife.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, hey, let's kick off some MLB talk. Mark, I don't know if you want to tell us, your thoughts on Nerfies or your fees or team specific stuff, but I had mentioned seeing Jordan Hicks's name pop up there, and he had been so good at not allowing runs that, maybe that's a team specific side for the Nerfy against Tampa Bay. But what are the thoughts? Kick us off with that. I'm going to pull up some weather and then give us a nice screenshot of all the games here.
So let's talk about this first game between St. Louis and Toronto, right? Kevin Gausman, all of a sudden the news comes out that, yes, he might be limited in this. So I think that if you're Gausman, you're coming into this game with the mindset of, I only have X number of pitches. I can go out there and throw my ass off and just smoke everybody. St. Louis is horrible. So long story short, I'm looking at this first game for a no-run first inning. And I was looking at Quinn Matthews, who's going to get the start. He got called up from the
Very
Cardinals.
Interesting.
Quinn Matthews. Did a little research looking at him. He got called up from AAA Memphis, and he has been absolutely stellar in Memphis for the month of June. He's got a 1.55 ERA across 52 innings, and he's a left-hander. The Blue Jays are notoriously bad at home against left-handed pitching. So I really think that, although I stay away, look, if it's a rookie, if it's a debut, most relievers I tend to stay away from when it comes to Nerfy betting, simply because you don't know what the nerves of them getting to start are going to do. It's a very different mindset, especially when you got a guy who is getting called up last minute to come in and make his debut start. I love this spot for both Matthews and Gausman. I think that the narrative here for both is very supportive of a no-run first inning. If you're looking for a three-teamer, I put one together this morning, and where did it go?
I'm just highlighting some comments. Good to see you, Wenzel Walker in the chat. We got big time Tigers fan Rob is ready in here, dropping some plays. So give us your plays here in the chat, or what you think you're going to want to bet on today. I mean, I've got some ideas. I have a play in this game, actually. I'll give it out real quick here, but I put it up on Sportsline. Kevin Gausman under 5.5 strikeouts. I was looking at, just for the fact that he may be limited, yes, but also, I mean, this is a bottom 5 strikeout team for the Cardinals. Like, they put the ball in play a good bit. Right now you're looking at against Gausman, there'll be 2 batters. I guess I don't think we have a lineup yet. Maybe we do. It looks like projected you'll have 2 hitters who are, strikeout targets in Jordan Walker and Jimmy Crooks, with a 26 and a 29% strikeout rate. But everybody else is like 16, 19, 18, 14, 21, 21. So maybe he picks up a couple of strikeouts in here. But I mean, yesterday, even Dylan Cease was, and he was held under his number. I know it was 7.5, but he was still held under the number. And when you look at it, it was fastball, slider. I mean, Gausman's going to give you fastball, splitter, slider. But I don't know. I was just thinking 6 was a big number. The projection was actually just under 5. So I felt like that was pretty strong. I did go half unit on it. I will say I've had some terrible luck of late, so I don't want to press too much into the idea that he is going to be limited. But if he's limited, that would certainly be helpful. I know the set under 17.5 outs was plus money, so that was maybe another way to look at it too.
That's what I love, and that's what I played. Is the under 17.5 outs at plus 122. It's a very good option. I
wasn't laughing at you, Coach. I just saw Jen's comment. This beats murdering coffee any morning. And I'm like, murdering coffee? How are you starting your day?
Yeah, whoa.
No, she's got to be saying that there's got to be some reason she said that.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's just like how we warm up in the morning,
Jen, tell me more about what that means.
Yeah. That needs a little more context.
Put on our cross trainers, do some coffee, a little murder.
Okay. Now it makes a little bit more sense. Okay.
Inside joke. So yeah, no, I like the under 17.5 outs.
I thought you were responding to a comment.
If it, he's already got his house packed up apparently, and if he's good, he's going to get showcased and as a rental piece, for another team, and they're not going to risk any injury, I don't think, unless they want to, I just don't think so. And if he's not doing well, then he has the opportunity to get pulled anyway. I don't know. I strongly find that it's better today to lose plus money than to drink a bunch of juice. I guess that's why I'm drinking this right now, to get it out of the way. But I really do love the under 17.5. It started at 18.5. Like it opened last night at 18.5, and it got beat down to 17.5. I still like it under 17.5. There's a lot more ways that he can go under than for him to go over. He's going to have a bunch of things go right. And, with him on the trade block, that sort of makes this a situational play that I find value in.
So I will say, can I just add one little key point to this? Because I do like the nerfing in this game. It's priced at minus 115. If whatever you do, the line may move a little bit. It's not going to move drastically. But whatever you do, especially this weekend going all the way up into Monday, wait until the lineups get confirmed. Wait until right before the game starts to make that nerfy wager if you're going to do that, because these things are so pitcher specific and so pitcher reliant that any change. And yesterday, a great example, guys, is I had a three-team nerfy parlay yesterday all set up, and all I needed was Casey Mize to hold out the Athletics. What happens? He gets a late scratch because he's trade rumored, and Troy Moulton, who, by the way, is dead to me from now on, gave up a first inning run to the homeless Athletics, and parlay done. But, especially this weekend, just make sure, confirm the starting pitchers. If you're going with a pitcher prop or, reliant on pitcher heavy data, make sure they get confirmed first.
Yeah, and the way I was looking at it too was like, if Gausman has a great start, then he probably does pitch into that sixth inning if he's having a good start and they're not planning on limiting him. But there are some variables that could run into that. And also too, I think if he struggles, like they probably are going to look to pull him a bit earlier. They're going to want to be cautious and not make a mockery of whatever they're going to try to do with him. I think it's probably going to go much easier.
Yeah, they don't want to lower his value.
Yeah, like things are going to go easier if he didn't just give up 8 runs. Like, let's not leave him out there to give up that many. So if he's struggling, I think he could be pulled. The only thought, I guess, from me was like St. Louis has been a low strikeout team. So I went to the strikeouts there because it does worry me a little bit. Like their offense has been kind of putrid. If you look at them against right-handed pitching just over the last couple of weeks here, only a couple of teams that are worse than them for OPS against righties, and it's the New York Yankees and the Baltimore Orioles. So if he gets a few quick outs, quick innings, it just felt like maybe he could put the outs in jeopardy more than the strikeouts against a team that hasn't struck out. But now that I say that, I'm sure he'll go 5 innings with 8 strikeouts. It'll be that, right?
Right. So he throws the complete game, 11 strikeouts.
I was kind of using Dylan Cease as like a little bit of a barometer too, with like Cease had 7 yesterday, and his stuff is like the fastball is nearly double the whiff rate of Kevin Gausman. And Cease has a great breaking pitch in that slider that Kevin Gausman just does not have. I mean, yeah, he has a slider and he has the splitter, but neither of them have performed up to what a guy like Dylan Cease is doing this year. So it's to me, it was kind of tough to look at that at 6 strikeouts and say, like, that's where the number should be.
Here's a little trivia question for you.
He has been over it, I will say, in 4 of his last 5 starts for the strikeouts. So good on Kevin Gausman for turning it up a little bit.
Don't look at your computer screen. When was the last time Kevin Gausman threw a complete game?
Today.
When was last today? I don't know. So it's not this season, it looks like.
I told you not to look at the screen.
Well, it's not this season, so it doesn't matter. Maybe when he was like, because he probably had a complete game on the Blue Jays.
He did.
So so it was when he was on the. So it's within the last few seasons. Then is it last year? Like, is it on today of last year?
July 27th of last year. And the only reason I know
close.
the only reason I know that is because I was at the game. My son and I went up to Toronto to catch the game. It was against the Rangers. He threw a complete game.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a good memory.
Wow.
Yeah. Listen, not bad for an old guy, right, Squishy?
Well, no,
So,
I'm saying
Squishy,
that's a good. That's not just a good memory. It's a good memory to have in your memory bank.
Right.
So, Jen, Squishy was saying he liked the under 17.5 outs at plus money. I said I was going with strikeouts under 5.5 because I felt like St. Louis's offense really hasn't done very much of late, but they haven't been striking out. So that was kind of my thought. But either way, it'd be great if he was limited to 4 innings, 4 strikeouts, whatever it is, and go on your way to wherever they're deciding to trade you. That would be ideal for everyone involved.
Mm-hmm.
So Mark also mentioned he liked. So you do like the Nerfy, is what you said here?
Yeah, I really do because I do like the Nerfy. I'm on the Nerfy. I've played it personally at -115. So this has been very interesting because I realized this morning that BetMGM has removed all first inning bets from their platform.
Wow.
So you can no longer play a Yerfy or a Nerfy on BetMGM right now. I'm hoping they decide to bring that back. But yeah, go over to DraftKings, FanDuel, or Fanatics. That's where they are. DraftKings and Fanatics, Bet365. And I think Bet Rivers has the inning specific.
So I know we don't have these
Or the team
yet.
specific. Team specific. I'm sorry, not inning.
I know we don't have the lineups yet, but it looks like what Ernie Clement, Vlad, and Okamoto are the top 3, and then Weatherholt, Walker, and Burleson.
For Toronto?
Happen. Just for both teams. I was naming all 6 of them. Top 3 in each lineup. I like that. I think that could happen. Excuse me.
Yeah.
All right. One thing, Squishy. One thing I'll say right before I want you to give us a little bit of a weather update is that Quinn Matthews, right? His first name's Quinn. Quinn Matthews has struck out a boatload of lefties in the left-on-left matchup. Like, he's been incredible. Don't get me wrong, he's got strikeouts against righties too. But it was an over 40% strikeout rate against lefties in the minors this year. So that left-on-left, you're not going to get many opportunities here. But if Dalton Varsho is in the lineup, I mean, he is a guy that can strike out. I know he's been significantly better than last year against lefties. This year, he's actually just under 19% strikeout rate against lefties, whereas last year he was almost a 26% rate. So that's like an 8% move from year to year in a left-on-left matchup. Is someone probably making a concerted effort to not strike out as much. But I still think this might be a tough matchup where you don't have a lot of info on the guy. It's his first start. And I'm sure in a sea of righties, it's going to be very nice for Matthews to finally see a lefty who's going to be a little bit down the lineup. I wouldn't be surprised if Dalton Varsho struck out or at least had a tough time there. So just looking at the odds for him to strike out, I guess I'll double check if FanDuel's given us anything. Not yet, but MGM has plus 360 on him to strike out in the first at bat there. So if Dalton Varsho if you have access to MGM, or, I guess we can look and see if there's any other ones out there, but DraftKings doesn't have it. I still think plus 360 is worth a little bit of a shot.
I think it's a great look, actually, to be honest with you, because I think you're getting in Matthews a pitcher that these guys haven't seen before, which is always the advantage to the pitcher. Give him a second, especially as effective as he is against left-handed batters. It really puts him in a spot where he's going to be able to fool a lot of these guys the first time around. I think it's a great look, especially at plus 360. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think so as well. Plus 360 to get that left-on-left matchup. There, you could also look to Okamoto or Kirk. I mean, Okamoto is a 28% strikeout rate against lefties, so I wouldn't doubt if, that's one of them that Matthews can get. But Matthews may have a little bit of trouble acclimating as well to maybe some of these other right-handed batters whom he hasn't been as good against in the minors anyways. And now you have Ernie Clement with an 11% strikeout rate. Vladdy is at 12%. Like, he's probably going to strike out guys like that, but there are a few down the lineup where maybe he could take advantage. And one of them, like I said, is a lefty on a lefty in Dalton Varsho there. Everybody else is a righty, though. So I think seeing that lefty might almost bring him a little bit of comfort where maybe he gets a little bit of nerves against some of those other guys. I think seeing a lefty, he's maybe going to say, wow, I'm finally getting a lefty. Like I'm able to do something against him. The only thing I would hope is maybe he doesn't just try to get one right in the zone, because I think Varsho is going to know it's a tougher matchup for him and be swinging early. So plus 360 was, kind of worth it there, in my opinion. And I guess maybe look for Matthews' next start. If I'm assuming he's going to get starts now if he's being called up. I would say look for him as he moves forward, because he's going to face lineups that have more lefties. Just, there's some teams that have to play their lefties. They can't do the matchup game, or they want to. So look for that, because he might face some lefties. Say he was going to face like Seattle. If you look at Seattle against lefties, and I was only looking at it because I believe they face a lefty here today, right? Yeah, Connor Prelip. And that's an early game right after this that we could talk about. But like Cal Raleigh hit righty, sorry. But Cole Emerson, and if you get Luke Raley in there, I mean, those are two lefties who strike out a ton against lefties. And Emerson pretty much has to play every day, but he's like a 33, 34% strikeout rate against lefties. So say he were to face them, I would start picking guys out like that, or even Josh Naylor. But Squishy, give us the weather update, and I've got to go open this door real quick.
You got it. First three games we don't even have to worry about. There's no impact. We got a roof, we got a dome, and we got a roof. That's the Cardinals at the Blue Jays at 3:00 Eastern time. White Sox at Tampa, 4:10 Eastern time. And those Twins at Seattle at 4:10 Eastern time. I'm going to go with maybe some good hitting weather potentially. We got Mets at Citi Field, Marlins at Mets. It's going to be nice out. There's no precipitation. A little 12-mile-an-hour wind that's going out to a little bit left center field. Philly at Baltimore at 7 p.m. this evening. 11-mile-an-hour winds out towards left. Nice 81 degrees, good weather. And then finally, the last game of the night, cap 9:40 p.m. Eastern time, Detroit Tigers at the Sacramento Athletics. Not much wind, but it's good enough weather. I would say more of a neutral thing based on whatever's going on, with not a bunch of action jacks and home runs going out there right now, but that is what it is. Now to the weather spots that could be a little bit dicey. I know Matt had mentioned the Cubs and how it's been raining there all day. It's been raining there last night. There's actually a chance that they could all blow away before the game starts. Kevin Roth is saying that there's a few showers around early. He marked it yellow. So I feel like that hopefully, I'm optimistic that this wind is, or the rain is going to be not over the ballpark too much, and they'll be able to play, because this could be a wacky game. That wind is blowing heavy at 20 to 30 miles per hour blowing in.
That's the sustained speed. That's not the gusts.
That's not the gusts. That's not right. The gusts. So that ball is not going to leave the ballpark unless you bet no home runs. I think it's a good thing to look at in terms of unders, in terms of 20 to 30 mile an hour winds. I think that would blow me.
Yeah.
Well, hey, here.
I think we have
Rudy eating my breakfast. I am laughing at the fact that we're laughing about the wind and whether it's the gust or the sustained speed. Regardless, it's going to be windy. Yeah. But we want to know what the green chicken is on your hat. Everybody wants to know.
Oh, these are the Springfield Isotopes, or the Thunderbirds. It's the AAA affiliate for Springfield's hockey team. They play right near where I grew up in Springfield, Massachusetts. They used to be the Springfield Indians, but that became not a cool thing to call your team. Love this hat. They go as the Isotopes it's the It's like it's a play on the Simpsons. So they will every year, a couple games, they'll have where they dress up and they have the uniforms as the Isotopes. They got the guy with the 3 eyeballs on their uniforms. It's a fun time.
I love the fact that it's Mr. Burns neon green.
Yeah, it's great. It's got that whole like neon green, like that mutation, like the lab. It's the Isotopes. It's really fun. AAA hockey is a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. Minor league hockey.
I'm gonna have to get into some minor league hockey because we're gonna be doing a lot of hockey coming up. It'll be very, very good. That gives me a moment here, at least mention, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel on YouTube if you can. We just hit our 200 subscriber. We're moving fast. So get on the train while you can still secure a low number as a subscriber here. The numbers will not last. So
yes,
get in early, as they say.
Yeah, you don't want to be a 4 or 5 digit number. You want that low.
Yeah,
doubles are gone, so you only got triples now.
But we will be doing some hockey streams on this channel as well during the hockey season. And you know what? We'll see what happens with the baseball season next year. I hope we have one, but if not, this will just become an exclusively hockey channel at that point. So that'll suck. That'll definitely suck.
You don't want to break down the WNBA?
I guess I could.
We'll make it happen.
I have to find something.
We'll make it happen. We will find something. We'll find darts. We'll find the CFL. We'll find WNBA. We'll make it happen. But
we're gonna go back to horse racing.
Yeah, I remember the last lockout. Like I was a kid. Okay, like this is 1994. I know there's one like a couple of years ago that was not really a real lockout, but like Mark, you probably remember like the real like 1994 lockout where it was just boring. Like I think that was the year they had just had like, and me as a Knicks fan, like it was sad. They had just lost, to the Rockets, I think, in the finals. They had it was the OJ Simpson thing in the Ford Bronco, and then there was nothing. The whole summer was just nothing. So as a kid, you want to watch baseball. There was nothing.
College basketball, Jen. I do agree with that. College basketball. I'm definitely in for college basketball. Let's see. So
I want to finish the weather. Sorry, I want to finish the weather.
Did you finish the weather up?
I'm almost done. I'm just dilly-dallying here. But the Nats and the Braves was yellow. A little spotty downpour around a delay, but probably they're going to play the full 9. The 2 spots that are a little dicey, the red ones, Pirates at the Reds. So that's at 6:40 p.m. We can wait on that. Scattered showers and storms. He says as of early this morning, there's actually some decent clearing shown models around game time, but he's not quite sure. So we're going to circle back. The one that could be, really kind of tricky could be the Diamondbacks at Guardians. And that's a game where I do have a play on it, but slow moving downpours around. I'm hoping they can pull a Chicago and play through some showers, but it may be too heavy at times to make that happen. Again, too far out, so pregame radar check is needed. I think maybe, not talk too much about those 2 games. Maybe if there's one that's going to get canceled or postponed, I think this would be the one in Cleveland. That's it.
Got you. Yeah, that was an interesting look. I know you had a play there. So real quick, if you want, because I don't have much more on that game. It's at 7:00. You like going under on Cole Drake to go full 5 innings here. So under 14.5 outs for starter Cole Drake. Tried to fade him in his first start. To be fair, didn't realize he was going to have like his entire family, high school class, like people he's never met before. He'd given tickets to outside like the stadium to tell him to come in. Like he had like 1,000 people there to root for him. So Yeah, they were going to give him a little bit of run, but you seen his last start. Then it was a significantly lower number of pitches because, to be fair, he did complete 4 and go out for the 5th. He just couldn't get an out in the 5th. Dude, you just jumped into the desk.
Yeah, I heard that.
He just jumped like into face first into the desk. I'm sorry.
Was Pepper in the NFL?
Relax. My gosh.
What are you doing, Pep?
It made sense that he had less run and they pulled him early. Like, I wouldn't be surprised at a team. I get that Cleveland really hasn't done much with the bats. It feels like all year now, but they still do work counts. Like, they're not the easiest bunch. You do have Jose Ramirez, which helps, I guess, slightly. Yeah. They're bottom 5 in OPS against lefties, but again, this guy doesn't have a ton of run. They do see a bunch of pitches. I think if we're going to look at pitches per plate appearance real quick here. All right, you're done. You got it. You got to get out the room if you're going to keep jumping down. This is crazy.
I think you should change her name to Dainty Culpepper.
Yeah. Guardians see the 4th most pitches in all of baseball. So
that's.
I just felt like that. Yeah, that under does seem pretty good. Not to mention then the weather and the potential for some kind of delay. I wouldn't be surprised if you see them try to push him, into that 5th inning again. But if you're going to get plus money on the fact that he runs into trouble somewhere in the first 5 innings and can't complete it, I don't dislike that. I obviously would love a 15.5 to say he has to get into the 6th inning.
Exactly.
It doesn't seem like that's out there or going to happen. But if for some reason we were to get a 15.5, or if you're on some Prize Picks copy paste, competitor that has 15.5 up and it's not anywhere else, right? Like, I would take the under 15.5.
Yep. And so plus 117 for the under 14.5. And the one other piece is that he's not he didn't necessarily get called up because he's lighting it up in the minors. He got called up because they need him as an arm. And I think in AAA, he was not really lasting 5 innings even in AAA.
Yeah, he was definitely a guy that had not only lower pitch counts, but a lower threshold of innings and work. And then you now step it up, right? I always kind of equate these things to horse racing. It seems weird, but it kind of makes sense. Horses will run in a race at one level and then they'll step up. Almost every time when these horses are stepping up, it's they have a much more difficult challenge. And it's in every sport, right? You have these minor leagues, and then as these guys step up, it's always a tougher challenge. But in the MLB, it just seems like it is just light years ahead of what some of these other leagues are. Going from college to the NFL, we've seen however many guys acclimate to that rather quickly. I know that that's not the best comparison either, but just the MLB level of baseball versus even AAA is such a big difference, especially for pitchers now having to face MLB hitters, seasoned professional hitters versus guys that are, still on their way up. So I do like fading him, take the under, plus money. Mark, what are you thinking?
I was just going to say, to that point, look, there's a huge difference when you're looking at guys that got called up and are relatively new to the MLB. You got Quinn Matthews, who is making his debut. What he has done in AAA is night and day compared to what Drake has done. Drake is averaging just over 4 innings per outing in AAA, which is at the AAA level. That is on the really short side of a starter only getting into the 4th inning. And to your point, you make that next jump, and that talent level, the jump is significant. So I like the spot of fading him here too.
Yeah, I do like that. Let's look ahead real quick, just see if there's any issues, I guess. So yesterday, what did they get? Bratt went 5. So Taylor Clark would kind of be the guy I would think would probably follow if you needed. He only threw 10 pitches yesterday, so he should be fine. He should be fine to work. And then what do they have tomorrow, starter-wise? Merrill Kelly. So that's a guy that can at least cover some innings. He's a veteran pitcher. You know, it's not like they have an opener and a bullpen day tomorrow, and they would probably need some extra innings here. Like they probably would be very happy if he got through 5, and if they could get him through 4 and a third, and all of a sudden he gets into a bit of trouble, like I think they're probably going to pull him.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, cool. So that's really all I have on that game. Had somebody ask me about Parker Messick strikeouts over 4.5 earlier this morning, but it's like -150, I think, for the over for the 5th strikeout. I think if you're going to try to bet on Messick to get some strikeouts, you probably want to go over 5.5. But I mean, real quick, look at these numbers against this D-backs team. Left-handed starters, there hasn't been a single left-handed starter that went over 5 strikeouts against this D-backs team since April 14th. Think about that. That's nuts. There has not been a single left-handed starter to go over 5 strikeouts since April 14th when they face off with the D-backs. You know, maybe Parker Messick is the guy to do it. I think it would be highly unlikely for him to have a super big pop game. I mean, Jesus Luzardo, it looks like, has one of the best starts this season as a lefty against his team, and it was 8 strikeouts. It was only 4 2/3 innings, which is kind of funny. But that was right around the time. That was April 10th, April 8th. They faced Peterson. He struck out 6. Trevor Rogers on the 14th struck out 6. But then everybody else has been held at 5 or less. And you've got some guys like Foster Griffin who struck out 2 on the 25th of July in 6 2/3. Gage Jump went for 5. Andrew Abbott went for 5. Nick Lodolo went for 5. And those were all through June and July. But beyond that, you're looking at Mackenzie Gore, Matt Boyd, and Shota Imanaga in early to mid-May when they, you know, maybe we're still having some lefty, some lefty strikeouts there to kind of accompany those 6 and 8. But it's been a really low strikeout total for them every time against lefties.
Can I ask you a question, though? Do you think when you see a team's strikeout rate drop off that dramatically, do you think that they are getting more comfortable with the strike zone in the ABS era as opposed to what it used to be on field?
I would say this year it probably plays into the, like, if you saw some teams who struggled early in the year and then, you know, their strikeout rates dipped. But I also think it's probably to a point of, like, they were playing Jose Fernandez earlier in the year, right? I'm not tripping. Like they were playing some guys here who had higher strikeout rates earlier in the year, like Adrian Del Castillo too. So, you know, maybe that plays into it where I think Moreno was out for a period of time early in the year, and now he's in there, right? He's a 15% strikeout rate. So there's probably some changes like that too that play into things where guys might have had a late start to spring training. They started the year not on the roster, not in the everyday lineup, but they're an everyday player. And then, you know, now they've got into it all of a sudden. We saw this yesterday. I mean, I liked what the setup could have been for Hunter Green, but when you've got to give a play out at 10 a.m. and then the game is until, you know, much later at 6:30, all of a sudden we had 2 guys swapped out of the projected lineup in Marcelo Zuna. And then, you know, Tyler Callahan, Billy Cook didn't get in there. So those were a few high strikeout rates that were pulled out of the lineup and subbed in for some much lower strikeout rates. It really hurt his potential. And on the flip side, Paul Skeens, he struck out 7 in 4 innings. He was not good whatsoever, but he still grabbed 7 strikeouts, and it didn't go over his number, unfortunately. But like what could have been if he was good because of the lineup setup, he had Matt McClain subbed in there. He had Tyler Stevenson subbed in there, and he didn't get guys like Jose Trevino, TJ Friedel, Noel V. Marte was in there, but you know, that's a guy they like to switch out a lot too. That's a much lower strikeout rate. So all of a sudden you could have 2 or 3 guys swapped in and out of the lineup, and it's like a totally different look for strikeouts. So I think there could have been some stuff happening like that. And if you ever see that, maybe that's something to think about. But at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if this year specifically, it's a lot of ABS too, and guys getting equated to it. Even as it stands, you have a lineup of D-backs here where there's only 2 hitters above a 16% strikeout rate against left-handed pitching. They're Tim Tawa and Ryan Waldschmidt at 23 and 24%. Like those aren't even at 25 or more. And those are your highest strikeout rate guys in the lineup. Everybody else is 19, 13, 15, 11, 7, 16, and 16%. I mean, that's a really staunchly, tough lineup for strikeouts. So
those are the guys that are making contact with the ball. They're making outs. They're not striking out.
Yeah. So you do get a 4.5 line on Messick, but I'm really not too encouraged by anything of late for the strikeouts for him, at least underlying metrics wise. Like all year he's been worse for strikeouts against lefties, but especially of late, in a very small sample size, he hasn't had many. And then you're going to get a bunch of righties in this lineup, but it's not even like the right-handed stuff is all that great. I mean, on the year, it's a 10% swinging strike rate against righties.
So I will tell you this, though. Messick has had 11 home starts. He's 9-2 to the NRFI. But in the first inning alone, he's racked up 15 strikeouts in those 11 starts for a 36% strikeout rate. So I think
That's
comes out. Yeah, he comes out really, really strong. I'm wondering if you could get a live number on that.
Like a live under. Yeah, I think
live under after that.
So that might play into the type of pitcher that he is too. He's like a lot of deception.
Yep.
A lot of speed you up to slow you down. Like he is very. He's not like a Luzardo where you got these really great breaking pitch and you're sweeping across the zone all the time and you're trying to get swing and miss. He is much more of a pitcher in my opinion. So I do like what I've seen from Messick. But I also see those 2 starts early in the month, right, where it's like 3 strikeouts and 1 strikeout against Miami and the White Sox. And then you see the 6 and the 6, the last 2 starts. But I feel like he has those up and down starts. And if he faces an opponent that strikes out a bunch, maybe, all of a sudden he picks up 3 in that first inning. Whereas, an opponent like this, maybe he doesn't.
What I was thinking was, if to Squishy's point, let's say he picks up 1, possibly 2 strikeouts in that first inning.
Yeah.
You could hammer a live under.
Some
really great odds at a elevated rate because he's coming out of the gate with strikeouts.
Yeah.
So you're going to get a much higher number at a better rate, hit the under, and you call that one a win.
And you do at least have Corbin Carroll, a lefty that leads off like that. It's a interleague matchup. Like they haven't faced him, I'm sure, much at all. If any, we can look it up. But I would have to assume that they haven't seen much of him. So it might take a couple of innings to have a couple guys go up there and face him and say, hey, this is what I'm seeing. Or, now they know what that, what that pitch looks like. And they're able to, go out there and react to it differently. So I would totally agree with that. Like definitely look for a live under. Even if he gets 1 strikeout, a live under, I mean, at that point, you probably go for 5.5 and you're like minus 130 to the under or something. And now he's got to get 6 strikeouts and it's really not a great matchup. The only thing is it is an interleague matchup. So let's see here. They haven't faced, well, that's tomorrow. That's Gavin Williams. I'm assuming they haven't faced him at all. Oh, wait, they have faced him. They face him. Let's see. They might have, if they faced him earlier in the year, that'd be pretty intense. No. So it's got to be last year. They did face him last year, struck out 6 times in 6 2/3 innings. 7 hits, though. Only 1 earned run and 1 walk. That was his first big league start, though, to be fair. So there was probably nothing on him. Corbin Carroll did strike out, though, to your point. There you go.
Just a different way to approach it.
I think I'm going to sit for that under. I'm going to wait for that under.
Yeah.
He'll strike 1 out. If he strikes 2 in the first inning out, I think you're going to be looking at a great fade for the rest of the game type spot.
Remember, this is that weather spot too. Which could play into our hands if you do that. If
this is that weather spot, you're right. This is that weather spot.
Start that game and then they need to like delay it.
That'd be beautiful.
That would work out perfectly for everything, for the cold Drake play, for all of it.
That would be beautiful. if we could get that game started and then stopped. That'd be awesome.
I'll have to do my rain dance later.
Yeah. Jen, how close is Jen to that game? Can she go pull some strings? She's in Chicago, but I know I've driven out that way. I know Cleveland isn't too far.
A very dear friend of mine, Daniel Greer, popped up in the chat with a question. I don't know if you saw that.
Never heard of him. I've never
heard of him.
Should hit by pitch be classified as a walk? Is that like a
here's
like you want that to happen?
So let me give you a little context. I can guarantee this is exactly what happened. He and Robbie have been absolutely nailing a batter to get a walk.
Yeah.
And they have been crushing it. And I believe last night, a guy that he was on didn't get a walk because he got hit by a pitch. And he's saying, well, in essence, isn't that the same as a walk? And I mean, yeah, but no.
Semantically,
really,
no.
Yeah.
Semantically, no. No, that was, yeah. Oof.
So here's where
they don't count it as total bases either.
No, total bases, you need to
no.
get a hit. Total bases has to come off of a hit.
So here's two things I think should happen. A hit batter should be an error on the pitcher, in my opinion. Just because at the same way that a throwing error on the pitcher should not negate earned runs because it's the pitcher's fault that it happened. These pitchers throw the ball in the right field and 2 runs score and they don't get earned runs because there's an error. But it was their error. It doesn't make any sense. The same thing happens when you've got like a 3-0, 3-1, 3-2 count, and then the batter gets hit by the pitch. That should be a walk, in my opinion. I've had that happen before where I've bet on some guys to have walks. I think it's happened to me twice where the 3-1 pitch hits him. It's a ball anyways. Right. Like it should be a walk.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you ever hate a guy and you're playing baseball and you're like 3-1 on him.
That's a gimme pitch, isn't it?
Just hit him with it. Then at that point, if you hit him, make it hurt. Like,
well, so that actually, I have a question about that. It's going to be a less frequent situation. But what about intentional beaning?
That should be, as I said, it should go as like an error on the pitcher.
Yeah.
It should be like there should be some consequences to that more than just
what if it's a retaliatory bean? What if it's
the nice thing is that
prior inning?
The nice thing, I guess, is that it doesn't go as an error because then they would be earned runs. Now, my thing is it shouldn't go as earned runs regardless, just like the throwing or, normal error on the pitcher shouldn't negate their earned runs. But that is to that point of like now those runs are earned. So it looks like Contreras got hit last night and removed from the game, as Daniel Greer said. So that's unfortunate. It makes me think of like when pitchers get hurt and leave the game. The nice thing about unders is like when you make the bet, you're winning. When you make the under bet, you're winning immediately. You're in the money immediately. And so if you bet that pitcher under 15.5 outs and it's Shane McClanahan who has a back issue and he leaves after, 3, it doesn't matter if he had 36 pitches after 3 innings and he was looking good and, his pitch count was low because he got pulled. And just because you were in the money, you're a winner. So it does make me sometimes think that I need to play more unders because when you're betting the over, you've got a lot of work to do. When you're betting the under, you just got to hope it holds.
So speaking of the Rays,
not that you would bet the under on the walks, though. Obviously, you're betting it to bet the over, which to that point, a guy I love for walks a lot of times is Murakami. He just seems to walk a ton, strikes out a ton too. So maybe that's one. Rasmussen hasn't walked a ton, but the guys he's walked have been from the left side. So just made me think of Murakami because I bet his walk a bunch so far this year. I actually bet 2 walks on him. That's what I'm sure you are doing that, DG, but I like to bet the 2 walks just because the prices a lot of times are really high. And if you're already betting on it because you're thinking they're going to get 1, a lot of the times too, these guys you're betting on are sluggers, guys that are bigger hitters who may be pitched around. When you bet the pregame walks number, whether it's over, a half, so it's 1+ or 2+, if you get an intentional walk, it counts. Whereas if you bet the live at bat, generally they're voiding the intentional walk bet. So just something interesting to think about. But I like betting the walks for sure. Tell us who you're on for a walk today. I'd love to hear it. I would say Murakami. I think Murakami, off a very quick glance, might not be a bad one. Also hit a homer yesterday. Kevin Cash probably tries to big brain them, puts him on base, against a right-handed reliever so they can face Miguel Vargas right after him or something like that, right? I could definitely see that happening. DG, if you're still here, let me know who you have for a walk. I'm interested. We got Prashant in the chat. Good to see you, Prashant. Good to see you. There's quite a few people in here that I didn't get to say hello to. So good day to everybody there. Katie Taylor as well coming in. Jen said on the D-backs game, she said Marte 2+ hit run RBI. I do actually like that when you get him, Marte, near the top of the order against the lefty. You're only getting, over 1.5 here for a very playable price. So I like that one, Jen. I do like that one. Anything else? So that was a 7 o'clock game. Anything else in some of these afternoon games, guys? I know I can mention, I just mentioned the Tampa Bay game and maybe the Murakami walk, or I think Rasmussen to record a win might not be a bad look. I don't really think I want to go to the, whatever it is, -160 or so here.
No.
For Tampa to win. But I will say I lost on Tampa yesterday. I just thought it was a tough spot after watching Chicago play the Yankees in those, extra inning games and then having to travel. Tampa didn't have to travel, but Chicago bats came to play. Got some of that Nick Martinez regression too. It is what it is. But Rasmussen has been solid in his own right. And you do now get Brian Baker back. I know I mentioned, I guess maybe they would give him an extra day off because it was 50 pitches over 2 days. But having him pitch a third day after 50 pitches in 2 days was going to be really tough. So he was probably going to be out yesterday. Not that it mattered. They just didn't hit. But today you're going to get the opener and Hicks, and then you get Noah Schultz behind him, who I think Schultz stinks. I bet against him last time. So I'm just going to keep betting against him, truthfully. So I think Rasmussen to record the win, though, is probably the way to go. If Schultz stinks and, Rasmussen is solid, it would be, maybe 5 or 6-1, something like that, similar to yesterday, just flipped. And then, you could head into the late innings and have a solid Tampa Bay bullpen to back you up. Any thoughts on that game specifically outside of that?
I sent you that. So I'm with you right there on the
perfect. Okay. You did send that. You're right. Maybe you put that in my brain and I didn't realize.
1+136 right now on DraftKings.
What up, Scott?
And it's a lot of it's because Drew's probably gonna get into that fifth. He might finish the fifth inning, get that sick, what's his outs line at 17.5. So
17.5, yeah.
So he's expected to pitch a good game, not a good game, but like a quality start. And then you get Noah Schultz, right? And the seesaw of baseball, everybody was on the Rays to win yesterday, and unfortunately that didn't work out great. I think it's a good bounce back spot for the Rays. I do not like betting too many money lines because it's just all over the place all the time in baseball when I bet money lines. So I often stick to props, but to record a win at +136 is a great bet. I think you can do that at a half unit if you want, and it's a really nice look on this for the Rays to get back in it. And then I see Scott said fade the Mariners, and I have a play on that one too.
Well, just so you know, yesterday was a very sad day.
Uh-oh.
The Seattle Mariners let an amazing streak die. They just couldn't get it over the finish line. They had not scored a first inning run since June 24th. And yesterday they decided to do, I don't know, what every other team can do except the Mariners. They decided to break the Mariner code and actually put up 2 in the first inning. It was
wow.
Yeah, it was.
I did not see that.
It was horrible.
I'm so
horrible. Sad. No focus. Yeah. They needed to stay locked in.
Oh, it's sad.
Yeah. I was also potentially thinking about like Ray's team total with the opener now and how solid Hicks has been. I think I'm probably just going to go for that as like a live play. So say he gets out of that first inning and he's got no issues, going to get, at least a bit of a better price, if not start to lose a full run if that happens for a couple of innings. So I think I'm going to play that one live, but definitely looking to see, the Rays score some runs. And obviously if they do, that would help us out. Looking at Rasmussen real quick against his problems of late, and really he's been solid this season, but like the problems of late have been against righties. I'm sorry. He's been good against lefties. The thing about that matching up with this lineup is like, you're probably only going to have 2 righties. You've got Romo and Braden Montgomery, who are switch hitters. Everybody else is a lefty besides Vargas and Mydroth. And so it almost feels like he could just kind of cut through their lineup pretty quickly, at least one time, but maybe a couple of times. And all of a sudden, put you into that, into looking towards that 5th, 6th inning. And he's like had no issues just because of like, he's still consistently been solid against these lefties. The problems have arose to righties in a smaller sample size, but to that point, the strikeouts have been on the left side. So if you want to go with Murakami, Colson Montgomery, maybe even Drew Romo at the bottom of the order, those would be my strikeout picks for the at-bat markets. And specifically Murakami and Colson Montgomery, I think I'm just going to keep betting them in these matchups with pitchers that are striking lefties out, whether they play against a left-handed pitcher. Like if they were playing against Quinn Matthews, I think I'd be like salivating because it's just a great left-on-left matchup where the pitcher is good against lefties and these 2 hitters are not. But they also strike out at 30 and 33% against righties. So if you have some righties, like I bet against them with Cam Schlittler, who had been solid striking lefties out. I mean, Murakami and Colson Montgomery, they're maybe not a pair of teammates that are better matchup for, any of these pitchers who are successful against lefties. So it's a 27% strikeout rate over the last 30 days, 51 plate appearances for Drew Rasmussen against left-handed batters. And those 2 guys, like I said, are both over 30%. So that's where I'd be looking in that game.
Can I just add this? Because I am all over Tampa. I agree with you, Jen. Tampa Bay Rays on the run line, you can get that at plus 118. I think when you look at this at the end of the day, yes, you can look at Drew's stuff, his stats, and how he's done. But we also have to look at what this White Sox lineup has done against right-handed pitching. Excuse me, I don't know where that came from. They ranked 19th in WOBA against right-handed pitching with the 98 WRC plus. What does that mean? Is that over the last 30 days, they've tended to struggle a little bit more. And the fact is, Tampa Bay at home have been lethal all season. The fact that we get Hicks to open up and then we get Noah Schultz, who's he's got an ERA that's to the moon. I think that this is a great spot for the Rays to turn their offense loose.
I think Jen's challenging you, dude.
Katie Taylor said, I think Jen is a White Sox fan. She was challenging you pretty much to say load up. But I do agree. I'm going to be on the Rays side here. I'm going to go against Jen.
Oh, in that case, you know what, Jen? I take it back. I thought we were on the same page. I apologize. I apologize that you're going to end up on the losing side of that bet.
What's the price on the run line?
Let's hope they bounce back. The bullpen is in a better state for sure as well.
Okay. Cool.
All right. Anything? Cool. So I don't have anything in the Mets and Miami game, but I will say
I got something in the Twins game.
Okay, so Mets and Miami, I'm going to move on quickly from. But I will at least say Zach Thornton has been very good. It doesn't seem like maybe there's a ton of regression coming. I know the BABIP has, been pretty far down. There's been some hard contacts, so like maybe you get some of it. But I guess I'm almost like along the lines of thinking I'll believe it when I see it, because I keep every time he goes out there thinking maybe this is the day the shoe drops, and it just hasn't really happened. The Marlins are not a team that I'm looking to run and back when they're going up against a lefty. If you look at them just over the last like month or so against lefties, it's right in the bottom third there, 676 OPS, so a good bit below league average. So I think they could struggle. And I do think Tyler Phillips, just not a great pitcher, not one that would be starting for many rotations. Obviously, the Marlins are in like a little bit of dire straits where they've got to have some people cover some innings, but especially against lefties, he's struggled, and there's hard contact across the board. But lefties, he has given up quite a bit of production. You're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lefties in this order, and some of their better hitters too. So.
Just to add real quickly, because somebody asked a question about the Mets on the money line. I can just tell you from our model projections, we have the Mets winning this straight up.
Yeah, is it like a significant edge? Because I really am not going to play either way.
It's so not going to get all nerdy on you real quick, but we look at run differential. Yeah, and based on if there is a 0 to 0.65 run differential is a relatively, at best, a lean. 0.66 to 1.35 is a strong indicator. Anything above 0.136 in a run differential is an automatic run line play. This falls in that slight lean because it's 0.26. So if you do anything, you might want to wait and play this live, because you could probably get a really nice number if you think that the Mets are going to win the way that the model is projecting it to eventually. That might be the way to look there.
Yeah, and just I guess maybe, I would like a better price than plus 170 on Thornton to get the win, but maybe that's a way to look at it too. Like if you think the Mets are going to win, then that's a nicer price.
I really missed out because I was looking late last night and then I forgot about it. Thornton had an outs line of 16.5 that I really liked last night, but it's at 17.5 now. I think he could probably still finish that 6th inning, but I wish I played it when it was at 16.5. I don't think that's a bad play at all if you get that price on Thornton to record the win, but I also think it's you get minus 126 if you play it pregame on FanDuel, the money line, and then a live line might be a great look. Yeah.
So you're getting about $1, about $1 in value extra to play the record a win. So yeah, it's I don't mind that. I don't think I'm going to play much in that game though.
Yeah. Hey, we got our first cash of the day.
I was just going to say.
Wow. That's funny. So how far did you get before you realized, or was it like?
I hope you went out and tried to mow the lawn.
Yeah, that's did you get to mowing? We got Kirk throwing out a play here.
Mow my lawn.
Tigers and Dodgers. Scott says Marlins money line. Scott, I kind of feel like Marlins might win, honestly. So that's why I'm going to stay off it because I think at some point this lefty for the Mets here is probably going to have some regression. Just not sure what day it will be. Let's see here real quick. And it looks like Katie Taylor is going to be on the Heriberto Hernandez home run. Okay. Oh, I wish you would have got like half the yard done and realized
what?
None of this is cut. That is true, right. Jen. I don't think I've ever heard Katie say Hernandez home run where it didn't happen.
Yeah.
So I got to give you that.
We got We got to be careful how we phrase that because you don't want to get somebody investigated.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Any streak can end on any day. There's nothing guaranteed here. But I'm just pointing out the fact of the matter that it does seem to happen when she says it. She might be phoning it in, actually. No one is getting investigated. So let's go to this Twins game because I do think, honestly, I was looking at Logan Gilbert earlier today, like very quietly has just been continually working into that 6th inning. Like he hasn't been held out of that 6th inning, I think, since, is it late April, early May? Like he's been consistently going into the 6th inning, not always finishing it. But I mean, consistently, yeah, you had a 4-inning in April and then a 5-inning right after it. But then everything else is like he's at least pitched into the 6th inning, if not finished it. I wouldn't mind taking him to go over 17.5 outs. It's not a play that I love by any means, but he actually did project close to 18. So there was that one. And then Prelip on the other side for some strikeouts. I mentioned lefties against this lineup here. And let me pull up Connor Prelip. I mentioned lefties against the lineup. Like he's been getting some strikeouts. You kind of have to give him some credit. You know, it's been, even on the season, the 25% rate against righties is not like an outstanding underlying metrics, but it's more about the matchup on the other side that these are some hitters that have been striking out. So maybe you want to take some strikeouts. I don't think I would take full game, but maybe we could go with like 4 or 5 of those hitters towards the bottom of the order who just, I mean, it's 29%, 28%, 32%, 33% for their strikeout rates. Then you get Raleigh a little bit up the order with, 36.5% strikeout rates against lefties. So this isn't a lefty that I love, but I do think there might be some strikeouts here. And especially if we might be able to get some like live game looks against this lineup for like some of the relievers, maybe we could do the same thing. But this is another lineup that I want to keep eyes on over the next few weeks because I think they really could provide some solid spots for strikeouts, right or left. It kind of
can I just piggyback off your Connor Prelip? Looking at the strike, I'm not comfortable with the strikeouts. I'm not comfortable with the outs, especially when he's on the road. Where I am comfortable is on his hits allowed. The line is at 4.5 right now. He's cleared this in his last 3 road starts with a 7, 8, and 9 in his most recent outing. So I think if you're going to look to play something on him, look at his hits allowed because that line is a lot lower than what he has been allowing in his last 3 starts.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Well, I'm playing the Logan Gilbert under 6.5 strikeouts. I got that at -104 on DraftKings. The Twins are kind of disciplined against right-handed pitchers. They're 22nd in strikeout rate against righties this year, 21.3%. And they are somewhat familiar with Logan. When he pitched against them in April this year, he only got that 5 innings pitched, 4 strikeouts, but he's pitched, in years prior. He's only gone over this line. I'm not going to take all the way back to 2022, but that was the only time when he went over this line. I know they don't have, I think Buxton's out of the lineup, right? So that might help with his achieving the over in terms of outs, but maybe not in terms of strikeouts. I think they're disciplined at the plate. I would say that he would need to get at least that 6 innings in order to get this over, if not more, because he's sort of, I see him at like 6.2, 6.3 Ks today. And I see a easier path to the under than the over. So I liked it when it was -104, close to even money. I think he could get over his outs and still get under on his strikeouts.
So the only thing that I don't love is like it probably is a lefty heavy order. That's been his significantly better side. They are, though, when you look at them, they are like an under 20% strikeout rate as a team. Not having Buxton in there does help. You do still have Royce Lewis at 27% near the top of the order. And Tristan Gray, this is the guy that I think I'm going to go at bat strikeouts on here today. Tristan Gray, if he plays, probably hitting near the bottom of the order. Number 9 hitter. So it would give us a bit of run for Gilbert to get into the game before he faced him. I do always like that. But you're looking at a 30%, almost 30% strikeout rate for Gray. Almost 170 plate appearances. He hits from the left side. He's the only lefty that actually makes for a solid strikeout matchup here for Gilbert. So to your point there, Squishy, it is a lineup that lacks strong targets for him. The underlying stuff has been really good for Gilbert against lefties. Righties, there's, I guess, maybe like a little bit more to be desired. But still, like lefties, he's been really good for strikeouts. So Tristan Gray, I think that's probably the main play that I'll have from this game is Gray to strike out in his first at bat. And I might look and see, because if he plays, I guess I'll have to see how much he's been pinch hit for. But I have to think he at least gets a couple of at bats. Let's see here. So we don't have anything on him yet. I don't even know if he is going to play. I mean, he's in the projection right now, so I'll go with that. But if you see Tristan Gray in the lineup, that's one that I think you have to play. It's a 32% strikeout rate for Gilbert against lefties. It's a 30% strikeout rate for Gray. He hasn't been good against against righties. So I like that one. I think I'll stay off full game anything, especially from, on the other side too with Prelip. But I do think there's some at-bat strikeout options in this one. And then someone had said Twins money line. And the thought of, I know Prelip being on the road, obviously, right? My only thought with that is like, so look at the road games for Prelip. It was in Cleveland, he allowed 4 runs, only 1 was earned in 5 innings. He still did allow 4. In Boston, 7 hits, 5 earned. In Chicago, 8 hits and 6 earned. I guess we can see it wasn't like it was super hot or super windy that day. So not a good start for him against the White Sox. But like those aren't terribly easy places to pitch. In Arizona, not only a fairly good lineup on some days, but not the easiest place to pitch, I guess you would say. It's fine. But like this is Seattle. So I guess I think about being on the road maybe a little bit differently. If I'm in like Petco Park, if I'm in Seattle, places that are generally really advantageous to pitchers. So maybe that's my only thought about Prelip being on the road. But it is a bit weird. And I guess sometimes the schedule falls like this, but like it is a bit weird that he's had 1 road start since May. Like that's really weird.
I was just looking at that. So, as people were talking, so yeah, he's had only Arizona.
Only 1 start on the road since May. I'm not sure if that has anything to do with it, if they're trying to kind of line things up for him to pitch more at home. But I think maybe that speaks to the fact of Seattle is a better place for pitchers. So maybe they're just going with it at this point.
And when you look at his last 3, I mean, against Colorado, he pitched at home, 93 pitches. Against Cleveland, 83. The A's, he only had 72 pitches thrown. Why do you think they would be restricting his pitch count to that level? I mean, that's
I'm sure it's an innings thing. I'm sure if we look at it, I'm sure you're going to see. So yeah, you're at 72, and I think he's pitched a little bit in the minors too. Let's see what it breaks down. AAA this year, he's had 18 2/3 innings, so you're looking at like 90 innings right now. And if you look across 2 teams last year for him, it was 82 innings, and he didn't have anything in the majors last year, right? So yeah, it was 82 innings. So, I mean, he's already over his innings from last year. And
so they might just be trying to extend him at this
point.
They're
definitely, I'm sure, at some point trying to limit him. Let's see though, because sometimes so like he went 5 2/3, right? A lot of times you're not gonna let a guy start that inning if you're planning on pulling him. So did he get into trouble here? Ground out sharply, 105-mile-an-hour ground out. Okay, so hard hit ball. Then McNeil hits a ball, technically hard hit. It was 96.7 miles an hour. First pitch. So 1 out after like a ringing out. The next pitch, single. So then they probably have the bullpen warming there. And then he does strike out Henry Bolte, but it was on a 6-pitch at bat. Then they pulled him. So at that point, it was, and the runs actually came after that. But at that point, it was still like they were up 7-0. They didn't need to pull him. And I get that there was a ball hit hard, and then it was an immediate single, and then he had a 6-pitch. Maybe it was a little laborious strikeout, but like they didn't really need to pull him right there.
Right.
It wasn't like there was anything super bad going on. They had a significant lead. So that's pretty interesting to see that he was allowed to start that inning, but pulled at 5 2/3. What's the number today on outs?
On outs? I was just looking at that. 16.5.
I think I like the under. You're gonna get.
It is super juiced to the under. It's at draft. Well, I shouldn't say super juiced. It's 126 to the under.
And it was 15.5 earlier. So it's gone up. It's gone up. But I almost like the under now. It's 16.5. If we were to, I don't think we'll see a 17.5, but if we were to see a 17.5, the only thing is, like Scott said, and if you're still here, like Scott said, the Mariners have been rough, man. So that might be a thought. But I like, if he was to face a better lineup than the Mariners, I think you have to keep fading him, because you're probably going to see these pitch counts go down. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's like a 5-inning, like 5 1/3 max. Like, he's really not extending much past that 5th inning moving forward, unless he's super efficient. Just because it does seem like that last start is maybe a little bit weird. I guess we could try to tap into, like, it was his first start back after the break. Was the manager giving any reasoning behind it? Because then that could extend. But it does just at face value seem like at some point they're probably going to limit him, and maybe it's starting. Just wish the lineup facing him was a little bit better, but maybe like an under. You're going to get plus 110 for under 5.5 strikeouts. And I was already talking about the strikeouts. There's quite a few options. If we were to get a lineup that maybe had like 1 or 2 subs for the Mariners here, if you could get, I know it would be left on left, but like even Dominic Canzone left on left, like that's still a 20% strikeout rate against lefties. Same thing with Crawford. It's a 16%. Like, those guys aren't projected to be in there, but if you were to get them, or I'd even take like Victor Robles, somebody like that, like that's going to significantly change how this looks if you lose, 1 or 2 of these tougher options. All right, I don't have anything else on that game. And in these afternoon games, we pretty much talked about all of them. So I don't want to spend too much time on the later games. If you have any specific questions on the later games, I would ask them now. We got Jay Main said 15.5 on FanDuel. Yeah, I think that's probably the better line, truthfully, for like the sports books. But out 16.5, it's starting to become enticing for me to fade him. So if we were to get a 17.5, I'd really love to fade it. But 16.5, I think I don't even mind fading the outs. Just, it does seem like at some point he's probably going to be a bit more limited.
The only thing
he's on the IL. Okay, so yeah, they all still show up here in my spreadsheet. So just looking at the names there, I really wouldn't even mind if you got Canzone in the lineup, truthfully, if you're looking at an under.
The last thing I have for you, Amags.
You said all the Mariner talk because he had to walk out.
I had to work. I'm so sorry. I had a work call. I'm so
Scott,
sorry.
They've been bad, dude. They've been bad. Man.
They've been bad.
They have stunk.
I had to take a work call.
This is about one of the night games here. And actually, I think this is a pretty good angle. J-Main says Ashcraft leads the majors in overs. So you're going to get a game in Great American Ballpark with Ashcraft and Andrew Abbott on the other side, who I truthfully don't like either. I don't think he's a great pitcher. He can keep offenses off the board, but it's not like he's an exceptional pitcher. So I think that's interesting. This was one of our weather games here, I think. Why can't I find
which one?
No, Cincinnati? I didn't think so.
No, since it is, but they're probably going to play.
It looks all good because it's just on the spreadsheet it just shows like weather, or it just shows like rain.
Yeah. So this is one where it's red, scattered storms and showers around. But Kevin said as of the morning, there was some decent clearing shown by models around game time, but not sold on the exact timing. So would need to circle back.
So I think Matt is saying, because I hit 200 subscribers. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, that is what he's talking about.
Thank you, Matt. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And hey, I will say we've got almost 160 people concurrently watching right now. So if you could go and head to YouTube real quick, hit that subscribe button. It would mean a lot. As Matt said, thank you. Yes, we did finally get to 200. We'll be at 2,000 soon, and then 20,000, and then 200,000, and then you'll never hear from me again. So it'll go like that. But also too, he said hot stove trade deadline predictions. Well, I already mentioned one guy that there was a little bit of talk about in Kevin Gossman, so I did try to fade him on the strikeouts here today. Half unit. I wasn't going to dip my toes in too far, but I did feel like it was at least worth giving the information out and playing a half unit on it. The thing with the Reds game, though, I do think a look to the over isn't bad at all. And then there's probably going to be a good bit of at-bat strikeout mentioning here in the next second. But Abbott against lefties actually has been solid. It's a 27, 28% strikeout rate with the underlying metrics at 12, 13% for swinging strikes. So he's got a bit of punch, with those strikeouts to lefties, but it's like 15 to 17% against righties. So it really drops off against righties. I don't want to do anything full game because you're going to face a lineup full of righties. The thing with some of those righties is like guys like Billy Cook, Marcelo Zuna, even Valdez, like they're 26 to 40% strikeout rate against lefties. So I wouldn't be surprised if Abbott grabs a few and all of a sudden he's at 4 or maybe 5 and he's, getting to that over 5.5. You're kind of sweating it. So I would lean under just because of the right-left matchups, but I wouldn't be surprised if some of these guys strike out. One of which, who resides on the left side, likely to be in there, Brandon Lau. He's just been dreadful against left-handed pitching for strikeouts. It's a 35 to 36% strikeout rate against lefties this year in 135 plate appearances. And like I said, Abbott's only thing he can really do with strikeouts is against lefties. So I think Lau against that lefty is a really strong at-bat strikeout target. And then on the other side for Ashcraft, he's been up and down, up and down. A lot of the underlying stuff of late has kind of gone away. So I don't really love him for some of the strikeouts, but we know how many strikeouts they can pack into this order. And if you look at him, at least of late, he still has picked up some strikeouts against righties. So I think guys like Eugenio Suarez and Matt McClain, those two would be the top for me there. So I will write these down. And I have a lot of them written down because I was looking at this stuff earlier. But I'll write these down and post these so you guys can try to follow a lot of those at-bat strikeout targets for today. That's all I've got for that game, really. Anything you guys are looking at?
Nope. I see a good questions, though. Matt, wanted to talk about the trade deadline, where people are going to go. I have no idea. Maybe you guys have something about that, but Lee Price has so they put Soriano's on the block, I think, and he's a good one. 16.5 outs. I really do think that's a good. I would much rather play the under there than the over. So I'm either playing the under and riding with Lee, or I will stay off. I just don't know what the price is. What's the price?
Looks like I need to update
Lee Price. What's the price?
Yeah, how is your name Lee Price? You're not giving us the price.
Because the price is right.
It looks like minus 130 to the under.
Okay.
Lee No Price is his name.
Okay. I mean, I if I can put this back up here, I'll little juice.
Lee No Price.
No, it's a very I would lean there for sure. Like they're hanging that 16.5, and you know, he could have a couple good innings. It all depends on what the Angels want to do. I don't think they're a very smart management.
They're a very smart bunch.
Yeah, they're I want to say they're late bloomers, but I don't think they ever bloom. So we'll see what happens. But it's a good look under or nothing for me.
And if you're looking for some strikeouts, Robert Gasser has been significantly better for strikeouts against lefties. We know this Angels lineup doesn't really push out many lefties, especially if there is a lefty on the other side. The only one you're going to get is Nolan Schanuel. He's never a guy that I'm going for at-bat strikeouts. You might get a good price just because his strikeout rate is like 15, 16%, even against a lefty. Let's see here real quick. But you may get like a plus 300. Yeah, we'll find out. Something like that might be similar to like Dalton Varsho, where it's just worth it to play. Now, of course, we mentioned, Varsho's been better this year, but had some history of being bad. Schanuel has history of being tough for strikeouts regardless. So DraftKings doesn't have it. And we're looking at MGM.
While you're looking at that,
it is 300, by the way.
He had the question about the over 15.5 outs for Gasser. I think I love that look.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. In his last 4 night games, he's gone over this. He's averaging almost 19 outs in those 4 games, averaging about 90 pitches. The only thing that concerns me is that the last game had 77 pitches thrown in it, but he still managed 18 outs. Very, very efficient. So I think he's getting to that 6th inning, and just automatically they're going to pull him.
Yeah, definitely. If you look at him too, I mean, last year, I don't know his injury history. It looks like he probably was injured at some point, because 2024 he had 12 innings. Then last year he had 38. So I'm thinking it was probably like a Tommy John, because he had 135 and 137 the 2 years before that in the minors, 22 and 23. 24 it goes down to 12, 25. So last year it was just 38 innings. He did have 5 innings in the majors there. And in 24, he had 28 innings. So he had about 40 innings in 24. Last year, not many, about the same 40. And now you're looking at a guy that's thrown 70, 80 plus innings now between the minors and the majors. I think he's starting to come to his limit too.
The one thing to note, though, is in his last 7 games, and this is regardless of time they're being played or location, in his last 7 starts, the only time he hasn't gone over 15.5 outs, the game right before the All-Star break, in his first start right after.
Yeah.
Everything else has been over.
Well, and last time, too, he was really efficient. Like, that's the thing. If he's just efficient and throws 77 pitches to get through 6 innings, he'll get through 6 innings.
Yeah.
What team would help make a pitcher be efficient would be the Los Angeles Angels. And the team that wanted to be more patient at the plate at the beginning of the year and just couldn't figure out how to maintain it. That line is on the move right now. I'm watching it move. Best price is minus 122 over 15.5. Whoever mentioned that play, thank you, because I'm tailing it.
Katie, so maybe I missed what was said here, but are you talking about the play with in the Pirates game yesterday?
I think they're talking about Low or Lau.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I don't know if you guys saw, but that play from Sal Stewart yesterday was insane. I don't know if you guys saw that. I'm gonna pull it up here real quick.
And while you're doing that, I also want to get your opinion on the Jarren Duran situation in Boston.
Yeah. So I heard someone mention it like a good thing. Like, oh, they're fired up. That's good. Like they care.
Dude.
But I feel like there's a difference between that and like there's a difference between that and showing your teammates up, being a bad teammate, being a bad person. All of that, I think, comes into play when he was like right next to Contreras in the dude's ear in the dugout, like talking about him, but not looking at him, like acting like he's like walking back out on the field, but talking loud enough that he can hear him. He's just, I think that Jarren Duran is not somebody that I would enjoy playing with. I'll maybe leave it at that. He's a character for sure, man.
Can I ask you this? Because at what point does somebody step in and be like, I don't know what you thought you saw, but dude, that was a sky-high pop-up that went 150 feet.
It was so shallow.
I mean, yeah, it was. He would not have made it halfway to home.
So, that's the thing, right? Like,
he yells, like, run!
Why are we? And I guess I can't pull this up. I'm trying, but it's not working. It's not attaching here. StreamYard. Oh wait, no, I have found it. So the thing about it is, like, if he runs and gets thrown out, then no one is really mad at Duran, but everyone's mad at Contreras.
Oh yeah,
because they say, how could you go on that? So he now has his teammate mad at him that he didn't go and do something silly just because his teammate wanted to feel like he had done his job. But like, buddy, if you had just hit the ball further, you would have done your job. So to get mad at your teammate, I guess is, maybe behind closed doors is one thing, but like now you're mad at him for not doing something silly that would have then put him in a really bad spot too. Like it's just,
I'm
it's
just
not
talking
like,
about
that's
it's not like you're mad that someone just like didn't make the play. Like he's mad that he didn't make a really poor decision on the field, which is it I think reflects so much worse on Jarren Duran than if it was like when we've seen guys do this where you're upset that somebody didn't back up a throw, or you're upset somebody
100%.
didn't hit the cutoff man. Like those are physical mistakes that happen, but like in my opinion, this felt more like a guy being upset that someone didn't make a mental mistake. And that's just like, you're a terrible person for wanting someone to do that versus I just wish you didn't miss that ball. Now I'm going to show you up a little bit. That is usually how showing up works, but this is, it's weird to me.
It's 100%. I don't agree with, like, why do you have Epperson standing there doing his job? Right. Like you have,
that was my point.
You have a third base coach who
you're mad at both of them now.
And
you're mad at both people.
You're mad at both of them because you want to get an RBI on your sac fly. And, you might not have the angle that you need. The third base coach has that angle and they had that experience. So I agree with DG. Like the optics of handling that on the or in public would look bad, but I can't imagine that he has not had a little talking to behind closed doors. And I doubt he cares. I doubt he cares really because he's that kind of guy, but I'm sure he's been talked to.
Yeah, I'm sure. It's very strange to me. We've seen a lot of guys show each other up on the field before, but I really can't remember one where it was like that, where it's you're showing somebody up because they didn't make a silly mental mistake. Like that would have been a very silly mental mistake to go home when the balls hit that shallow and your coach isn't telling you to go. Like that would be a very silly thing to do. And you have a teammate mad at you that you didn't make that mistake is just strange. Not something I've really seen much of. So I'm going to pull this up and show it while we have a chance here. This is the play that Sal Stewart made or didn't make. I mean, what are we Hunter Green is there. Hunter Green is there. The entire time Hunter Green is there. Just flip it right here and it's an easy out. What was he doing? That was like one of the worst plays I've seen on a baseball field in a while. We'll run it back one more time here. Look, just all right, 2 steps, flip the ball. Green gets it.
He's even holding it in his hand. He's holding it in his hand, man.
Easily would have been able to make. I mean, look where Green ends up.
Stop right there. Boom, and toss it.
Look at this. Green is easily beating him to the bag here. Look, the foot is ready on the bag. As long as he throws him the ball, Ryan O'Hearn is out right there. As long as he throws him the ball, you have the foot on the bag, and O'Hearn is nowhere near touching the bag right now. And Sal Stewart is just in la-la land. He's just completely lost in like no man's land right here. And furthermore, why are you standing up trying to make this play? If you're gonna make this play, you have to get to about here where he's standing and then slide. Like you needed to slide into that bag feet first to beat the runner. He had no chance of beating the runner at any point in that play. And then he hits into his pitcher.
He did not step on the bag. He did not.
Look at him right there. That's a ridiculous way to ever end up on a bit. You should never look like that on a baseball field, right there. You should never be doing a pirouette.
You should never look like that with 2 outs in the first inning.
2 outs in the first inning.
That right there extends the inning. Wow. And yes, Scott, I see you. I agree with you 1,000%. It's what killed the Nerfy because that was the out of the inning. That was literally. You know what? Maybe we should investigate Sal Stewart. I wonder if he was betting on the Yerfy.
Oh.
All right, maybe we shouldn't. I was only kidding, Amags. I don't want to.
I'm trying to like get this stuff out of my way because I want to pull up this other real quick here because I don't have I don't have much more that I was going to specifically say on this show for the rest of the game. So if one of you could maybe just keep an eye on the chat, see if there's anything. We did talk about, the one from the Angels game here. We obviously have the Dodgers game. I got to say for the Dodgers, I think it's Yamamoto to get the win or kind of nothing because I think the price is just still a little bit too far. I do think that the Dodgers, can win this game rather easily. But I also think it might just be like a really tight, low-scoring game. Like I kind of don't love what let me see here. Make sure I'm not wrong, but this is the way I was looking at it this morning. The Dodgers were like about league average against lefties, and I actually don't hate even Peyton Tolley to get some strikeouts. So I just felt like maybe it would be a little bit lower scoring, maybe not, but
the only thing I had
Yamamoto to get the win was where I was looking.
The last thing I have for you, Amags, is just a 3-teamer, no run first inning, and that's Boston in that LA Dodger game. Boston, the White Sox, just for you, Jen, and the New York Yankees. Put all 3 together. I got it this morning at -115.
Not bad.
Right. It does worry me that David Peterson's been better because I think this Yankees lineup could get cut up too, man. I really do think. I mean, 2 runs on 2 home runs yesterday. Like they're not like they're doing much, and there's big wind, as we mentioned in this game. Like, if these teams aren't hitting home runs, how are they scoring?
And just so you know, the full inning Nerfy in that Chicago Cubs Yankees game is at -165.
Ooh! Wow.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And that's the thing. Like, if they're not hitting home runs in this game, how are they scoring?
Right.
I think it's,
you need to get Sal Stewart playing.
The thought would be under, but it was already 6.5, right? And I kind of don't love going under 6.5, but
you're going to have to manufacture runs.
3.5 was still in the first 5. I'm not sure if it's gone down to 3, but it was 3.5 still for the first 5. I could see it being like even a 2-1 game after the first 5, and you're still, under that total. I'm going to pull up. So this was an insane first inning by both of these pitchers. There was so much potential for this game yesterday, this Pirates and Reds game, to have 2 pitchers duel it out, a bunch of strikeouts. Have a great game. So Mark, were you
grumpy?
You were on the first inning under here?
No, I was not. And I'll tell you why. Because I no longer have bought into the Paul Skeens hype. He used to be absolutely dominant in his rookie season. He was dominant. Nobody had seen him pitch. He was Major League Baseball can catch up to a pitcher in a hurry, and they have caught up to Paul Skeens. And I think that when you look at what he's done this season for a no-run first inning, he's average at best. And so, yeah, that is the biggest public trap that there can possibly be right now is betting a Paul Skeens Nerfy.
So there was a hit right here just before this. They just got off the replay here showing the hit. So this is the hit dunks in here. But there's one out. If you had the Nerfy in this game, this was disgusting beat on especially if you had like Pirates not score. Look at this. So 1 man on, 1 out. Just turn the double play. Nope. Only going to get 1 out. I mean, if you want to talk about investigating.
It's a comedy of errors from that point on. This first inning is the textbook way.
This first inning was terrible for Hunter Green. They did him so dirty. He should have been out of the inning right here. Turn 2. Nope. It's going to hit my glove, hit my leg, back on the ground. Now I got to pick it up. Now I got to throw. And then literally
Keystone Cups.
So there's a hit right here. Or no, a walk. I'm sorry. It's a walk. A 3-2 walk, which, by the way, Valdez is somebody he absolutely should have struck out.
Are you kidding?
Insane that he doesn't strike Valdez out right here. But I will say, see where that pitch was? And they mentioned it on the broadcast too. Like, he just yanks this fastball. He just tries to throw it too hard. And he just misses the outside corner. 97. I mean, I think he just tries. You can kind of see it on his face right there too. He's like, fuck, that was the one.
There is not a hotter batter right now than Emerlin Van Valdez.
Well, he faced a lefty today too, and Andrew Abbott. So I like the hits, runs, RBIs. But then right after that is this Sal Stewart play. I mean, look how bad the first inning was here for this guy. That happened basically moments after the double play that I just showed. So now he's got bases loaded, and then there's a hit, and then I think it ends. It ends on Rodriguez, but
then
it was
didn't
bad
do any better
all around.
Yes, Skeens didn't do any better. They gave up 2 runs in the first, and then Skeens came out and he gave up 2 runs. There were 4 runs scored in the first inning yesterday.
So, Katie, you said what inning was this? You said it was.
Where did she put it?
She said the 8th
inning.
So let's go to the 8th here. Bottom of the 8th. Right? Bottom of the no? Top. I'm still on the top of the 8th here. Okay. We went for a pitching change. And now we're in the bottom of the 8th. I actually didn't see this, Katie. So what does things get bad right here? I'm on Matt McLean's at bat right now, so please excuse me if it's going to take me a moment to find this. I think I might have found it. Has she said who it was against or no? So I'll find it.
It says Nick Gonzalez throwing decision, bottom of the 8th, says Scott.
Singles on a sharp line drive. Okay, it's Nathaniel Lowe reaches on a fielder's choice, I think, is what it is.
Yes. Okay, so that's the one they were talking about before.
Yeah. And it looks like it was after the pitching change here.
You got to share it.
Yeah. I'm still trying to find. Oh, okay, here we go. Oh, all right. So let's break this one down. Let's see whose fault it was. Maybe we'll do this every time. Come with a bad beat or a bad play, and we'll break it down and see whose fault it was. See how bad of a beat.
We're gonna turn this into a 4-hour show.
So right now we got, and this will be probably where we cut it off. But so it's a 7-7 game now. It was a 7-5, I believe, starting this inning. So it's 7-7 now. You've got 2 outs, and you got first and third. Nathaniel Lowe. Okay, that should be out of the inning. Well, I got to see where this throw is at, but I don't even know if that's on the throw. It looks like it hits right off his glove, right off Lowe's glove, right? Are you saying it's Lowe's fault, or are you? Oh, you can't. Someone tell me you can't see it when you can't see it.
He already
You were
did.
talking.
Mark already did.
Bad. Okay, look at this. Katie, well, we needed to give Katie a moment to tell us who fault she thinks it is anyways. So, third baseman's fault 100%, Scott says. First off, that's a ridiculous double clutch because it throws the timing off for everybody.
Yep.
The timing is completely thrown off there for everyone. And now you're just playing Little League Baseball. So, like, that had to be thrown on the first gather. And by not throwing it on this first gather, but to be fair, he's probably waiting because Lowe is not, or Lau, how do you want to say it? He's not there, is what he's waiting for. He didn't get now. What you have to do, what you're taught, is you have to throw it to the base, and he's got to get there.
No, there's 2 outs. What are you doing? Well, throw the ball first.
You're right. Go to first. You're right. Go to first.
Just get
that
out of the
that
damn
is the
inning.
number one issue. That's the number. There's no reason he should be going. I guess maybe his thought is just that because of where he gets that, he's kind of in the 5-6 hole, right? Like he's kind of in that hole, and his momentum is taking him there. He probably is like, okay, this is just easy pitch and catch, but like
that is absolutely ridiculous.
It should go to first base, especially with Nathaniel Lowe running.
I'll tell you what, this is pissing me off. And it's making me angry.
But to be fair, too,
ridiculous.
Okay, but let's be fair. Brandon Lau has to catch this ball, man. Catch the ball, dude. That cannot hit off your glove.
Out of your mind?
It's not his
You know what
fault.
he's thinking? You know what he's thinking?
It's
why are you throwing it to me?
Yeah,
why are you throwing it to second?
I get that.
Why are you throwing that ball to first base? Because the runner is not even halfway down the path. Throw the ball to first.
Was there something wrong that happened just before that too? Because they're showing the third baseman, I feel like. So this runner gets a third. How does this runner get to third? Oh, because he's playing in the middle of the field on the shift is why they showed him. Oh, wait, no, because then who's at third base right there?
Third, and so then he must have walked.
That was a shortstop then. So you get an intentional walk there to face the lefty, which I get. Okay. That makes sense. He's just tough that he fights this pitch off. But yeah, this should, first off, number one rule, this should go to first base. This ball should go to first base. If in his mind he feels like momentum, this, that, and the third, let's just go to second. Once you see that he's not at second right away, go to first. You double clutching it anyways. Just go to first base. He would have still had plenty of time. But he forces that throw. And I will say, as a second baseman, I think Brandon Lowe has to catch this ball regardless, but it is certainly not his fault. I'll say it's definitely the fault of the thrower, but he's got to catch that ball regardless. He needs to catch that ball regardless, in my opinion.
I will say he was as surprised as Pete Alonso was on that throw on the pickoff move to first base. I don't know if you saw that one.
And DG is right. I did see what you're referring to. DG is right that if you're going to throw a second, you just have to throw it to the base. You have to throw it through the base and rely on the fact that your fielder is going to get there. It seems like he double clutches because he's not getting there fast enough. But in that moment of double clutch, you've got to spin your head and go to first. Then I like Wenzel Walker. He said everyone's stupid on that play. I would agree. I think everyone
I got
so yeah, second baseman exactly. So second baseman definitely was playing closer to the hole. I would have to think with a left-handed batter up, which is why when you double clutch to see he's not there in time, you got to go right to first base.
The second baseman had to run further than the guy running to first base is all I'm going to say.
But as a second baseman, if that hits off your glove, he's still probably saying to himself in the dugout, like, I should have caught that. And if he caught it, he probably would have been out. It looked like he was going to be out. But you have to catch. You have to do anything you can to catch that. But he should never been put in that position regardless.
Can we get Jaron Durant to call up the third baseman and yell at him?
Throw!
And Prashant says, "Welcome to August baseball." Yeah, that's exactly how it is. And then Katie says, then O'Hearn gets injured to close the game out in the ninth. Well, let's see. Is he in the projected lineup here? He's not. That's in the projected lineup, which I get that it's a lefty, so he might have been held out anyways. But it looks like that is going to help you out with gaining at least one slightly better strikeout target here. So for Andrew Abbott. So just keep that in mind as, if O'Hearn's going to miss any amount of time, you're likely swapping out like a 23% strikeout rate that's against a lefty. I bet you it's better against righties. 20% against righties. You're going to swap that out for like a 25 to 30% rate, it looks like. So that is definitely something to watch. She said he's going to miss a while. So there you go. Katie is so tapped in with the Pirates. I love it. And then Scott says, should do one of these breakdowns every week on a controversial play. I will definitely do that. Bring me the controversial plays because I will definitely do that. That was one that I was impacted because I had some bets on that game. And crazy that Skeens, I mean, he was terrible. And still, his number was 7.5 for strikeouts, still had 7 as he was terrible. I can imagine what he would have done if he was actually on. He would have had 15 strikeouts against that Reds lineup, I feel like. So Ashcraft going today. Maybe he picks a bunch of strikeouts up. As I mentioned, Matt McLean was and Yanio Suarez was my couple of favorite from that one. But yeah, I would love to do some more of those controversial plays.
I don't know if that got me all worked up. I'm all pissed off now.
Yeah, need to go for a little walk. Well, hey, we are almost at 2 hours anyways, so it's a good time for everybody to go for a walk. Thank you guys for being here, Mark and Squishy as always, but everybody in the chat too, man. Thank you for popping in and being here. We didn't touch on too many of the later games, kind of as has become the norm a little bit. Otherwise, these shows would legitimately be 5 hours long. But if you have any questions on some of the later games, 7 p.m., 6:40 is this Pirates one. You get the Yankees at 7. Let me know. I'll be in the Sportsline Discord. I can answer anything you need or shoot me a tweet.
Hit me up on Twitter.
Twitter's a good spot too. It's always good if you tweet me a question. I get people that DM me questions or their plays. Even if it's not a question, it's, hey, here's my play. Send it to me as a tweet because then I can quote tweet that and show everyone else and say, this is what I think of it or this is why I like it. So always better to tweet it directly at me than to DM it to me. But I always appreciate those regardless. So Jeff says, end the stream with an 8-leg lotto parlay. Well, I mean, Jeff, I already talked about if we get Tristan Gray in the lineup there for a strikeout or Murakami, Montgomery, either of those are options. Matt McLean, Yanio Suarez, those are some options for strikeouts. There's certainly some strikeout options later in the night too. Obviously, you get Yamamoto.
Strikeout options.
So there's some strikeouts to be had if you want to throw those together in a big parlay.
Katie Taylor gave you a home run lock. I mean, Katie Taylor is the EF Hutton for home runs. So listen.
Absolutely. And Jen, she says, thanks, guys. Good luck to everyone except the Rays.
It's on, Jen. I'm telling you, it's going to happen. Rays,
I might just bet on the Rays for the rest of this. Like, as long as I'm going to bet on the Rays. If they lose, then the Yankees win, right? Yeah. They don't have to worry about the Rays continuing to go up in the standings. And if the Rays win, then I'll make some money. So I think that's not a bad way to go about it.
Emotional hedge.
I'm taking the Tampa Bay Rays -3.5 now.
Just to be very honest with you, I saw that Noah Schultz was pitching, and I'll end it on this and trying to highlight as many awesome comments as we can. Thank you, Prashant. Thank you, Scott. When I saw Schultz was going to pitch, and I knew how the game went last night, I just like a degenerate, I went and I said, I bet you it's like a 5-1, 5-2, 6-1, 6-2, like almost flipping the game as we saw last night. So I bet those correct scores that, plus 4,000, plus 4,500. So we'll see what happens. If one of those scores comes in, remember me, 5-2, 6-2, 5-1, 6-1, something like that. I'm going to cash out a little bit. So remember me if you see one of those, Jen. We got Jeff popping in at the end here. I appreciate you for being here, Jeff. I know you didn't come on here today, but Jeff popped into my weekday show, gave out some awesome stuff, and asked some good questions as well. So thank you for that, Jeff. And thank you for everybody watching. We're almost at 180 concurrent watching now. I mean, what a time to end it. But please, if you could, go to YouTube, give me a subscribe. I'll have some weekday shows this week as well. Those really did well. So we'll have some weekday shows where we live bet some at-bat strikeouts. Hey, it hasn't been a great season for me, but the at-bat strikeouts have been incredible. Over 30% ROI right now on those, and really having some fun with it. So if you can tap into some of those streams, we've been doing some good stuff with those at least. So I appreciate you guys. Anything last to say, the laws or anything like that? We got to get a sign off here from Squishy. Give me something witty or notable or Buckets-esque here.
Witty, notable, Buckets-esque.
I'm putting you on the spot.
Let's just beat the Heat today. All right, you guys have fun. All right. Ride the weirdness. It's going to be a weird slate. I love getting weird. 200 is a fun little number here. Looks like we got 200 subscribers on the YouTube channel. I'm teetering on 200 subscribers on Twitter, but every time I get over that, 4 or 5 people unfollow me. Probably because of the hat. But I don't really care about that. What I care about is having fun, sharing this community with you guys. It's so much fun chopping it up with everybody, hearing the banter, hearing all the good takes, getting plays to tail on here. It's going to be a weird day, though. Let's get weird.
extra innings for those extra winnings.
There you go. Hashtag extra winnings. And Squishy gave us that final word just like a doctor would, right? Such a doctor there. Such a doctor. TG said never ask Squishy to do it again. That was the doctor in him. He got close. He gave you the prescription. Right. He said, we need to beat the Heat and get some wins.
Why did I feel like I was getting diagnosed with something?
I'm sorry. I had to take a work call halfway through. My brain is being stretched like it always is.
And honestly, if I ever have my doctor say, hey, let's get weird, I'm freaking out.
Yeah. Oh, shoot. I just got fired.
Man.
They just,
all right. Hey, have a great weekend, guys. Good to see you. Good hanging out with you. Always some good fun. We will catch you guys.